I love infographics, and this one is one of my favorite ones. We're going to get the infographic bars to come through the trees. So we'll have the trees as different objects. We're going to animate the background, so you'll see as you go from the trees into the next slide, for want of a better word, the background will slightly animate as well. We're going to have the charts coming in, different types of charts, and we're going to have text coming in at the end as well. And we're going to get the AI to write the text for us. And this is going to make a really cool infographic video. For this project, I've already started because you know how to do what I'm about to show you. So what I've done, and I'm going to go to my layers here, is I've set up various items in here. So I've got a background, and it's just this background over here. It's a gradient, and it's going from green into yellow. There we are. You can see it over there. So we'll just put a bit more yellow in there. I've got this shape here, which is that one. Once again, it just came from the shapes. And then I've got some trees. I found some trees, some different trees in here. You can see there's one there, one there. There's a whole bunch of them over here as well. So we've got these different trees to go in at the same time. And that also came from the graphics. Now, I'm doing this on a video size. So this is 1920 by 1080. So when you go and do a new document, just choose YouTube video and it'll be the right size. And set yourself up with something like this. A few items like trees, a bit of a background over there, and the hills as well. They don't have to look exactly like mine. And once you've done that, come back for the next video and we'll then start building the little bars that will go into here and animate in. I'm going to go to my shapes over here and I'm going to find a shape. I'm just using this rounded rectangle. Doesn't matter about the color at the moment. I'm going to change the corner roundness so it's a little bit rounder and pull it into a sort of a lozenge. If I can pronounce that, a lozenge type of shape, and that's the one that's going to be coming out with our details on it. Now I need to get some color on this, so I'm going to click on the color, and over here you can see it's showing some colors from the photo. Now I could go along to those colors and just pick colors directly from there, or I can go along and I can create my own. So maybe I'll go down over here to the gradients and choose a color from the gradients. Now, having picked that color, I'm not really sure that that the blue goes with the rest of it. So I'm just going to go back in there again. Now you can see that once I've chosen the color and kind of clicked off of it, it appears in here in the document colors. I can then click on that color and then edit it. So at the moment it's going from blue to yellow. I'm going to click on the blue and maybe pick more of a green color. I'm going for this really vivid lime green over there, going into, let's have a slightly brighter yellow like that. It's up to you what colors you want to use. If you find that's a bit too bright, just go down and take the color down a little bit. That actually looks quite pleasant. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to make 2 more copies. I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key, drag another copy of that one out, and maybe this one I'll change the color a little bit as well. So going up to the document colors in here, if I click on this, let's try that again and change the color. We'll go from a yellow to maybe something slightly more red. You can see it's not changing the existing one, it's just changing this one here. And I'll go to the greens and maybe adjust the green a little bit like that. Let's do one last one over here. So I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key, drag a copy, and you can see as I'm dragging it down, when it's the same distance as the last one, it just shows me those 275s in there. And of course, the same with this one. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go along to the color in there. click it and then adjust the colors on that. I think I might change that to be a little bit more of a slightly different green, maybe a little bit darker, and then change the orange to something, once again, maybe a little bit more red. So I've almost got this sort of a yellow, orange, dark orange or red going down that way. But you can do any colors that you like. And then I'm going to leave it like that. Have a bit of a go with that and get your 3 shapes up there with a gradient on them. Now let's get these exactly where we want them. I'm going to select all 3 of them, so I'm just holding down the Shift key. I'm going to move them down so they're kind of in the middle of the page. Once again, you can see those little smart guides pop up to show me that I'm right in the middle of the page over there. And I'm going to move them across a little bit. Now individually, I want to put these where I want them to end up. So this one here at the bottom, I'm going to move across. Now, as I'm moving it up and down, it kind of jumps around. Once again, I'm just watching that 75, or you can just hold down the Shift key. It's much faster to do it that way. And I'm going to pull that one in like so. I'm going to go to the top one and adjust that one to where I want it to end up like that. Now that I've got this, we're going to go and have a look at making a second page, but I'm actually missing something else, and I want to do that before we go on to our second page, and let's put some text over here to say forest. So I'm going to go to my text tool. I'm going to add a text box, forest. I'm going to make that quite bold. So I'm going to go up to my typefaces and find some sort of bold text like that. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to rotate it now around 90 degrees. So you can see when I get to 90 degrees, the little degree appears next to my cursor. And I'm going to move that into the right position. Now, it's not quite right. As you can see, it's a little bit on the large side. But I'm going to select it because I want to move those characters closer together. So going to the top here, I'll go to spacing, and I'll just use the letter spacing to pull those in a little bit like that. So I'm kind of after this almost logo-y type of look where the characters are all touching each other like that. I think that works quite well. I might even make it just a little bit bigger and move it into the right position over there and change the color. So I'm going for these sort of yellows and oranges in there. I want to make sure that it doesn't get lost at the top or the bottom, or you can go for a color that is completely opposite to that. So if I went for a purple, it would look really totally different. I'm going to go and keep with the oranges and yellows in there. Anyway, have a bit of a go, get these into the right position, get your text in there. I still don't like the color that I've chosen in there. I always default to white. If in doubt, I go with the white or the black text. Have a go with that. Now let's change the order of these items. So I'm just going to click on one of them, and I want to go along and find my position. Now Animate is there but no position. If you click on the 3 little dots, you'll see any missing items are over there. If this whole text thing wasn't there, they'll all appear at the top. So I'll click on position, and what I want to do is to adjust these around a little bit. So if I move that back there, that doesn't really work. Let's move that above it, and I'm going to move the trees to the very bottom. So I've got the group of trees which is going to be at the bottom, and then let's try this one over here. If it moves behind one of those trees, let's try it again. Okay, so it's behind that tree there, and this one here, or that one there, let's put behind a different tree. As you can see, they don't really work like that because the trees are going to be covering this bit over here. So I might have to rejig these around a little bit. And I'm going to go to this tree and just move that tree over so it's going to be sitting over there. and I'm going to adjust the size or the length of my little bar here because I want them to pop up in there. Now these two here, I could change them around as well if I wanted to, so I could go to that one there, I could move that one behind that tree, and I could move that one above that tree depending on what I wanted. I kind of quite like them to be coming out under all those trees. That looks rather good there, where they just pop up, and you can then just adjust your trees until they work for you. In fact, this tree I'm going to move out a little bit that way, and we'll move this one in here. It just gives it a little bit of depth like that. Now once you've got that, we're going to go and make a copy of that page. So get this right first, because you're going to be copying this, so make sure that everything is there as you want it to be. And once you're happy with this, we're going to go along and copy it. So I'm going to go down to the bottom to my thumbnail view, and we're going to add a new page, a copy of that one. So I'm going to right click and just say duplicate page in there. This on my second page is how I want it to end up. So I'm going to go to my first page now, and I'm going to move these items all the way out. Remember from the previous videos that you can't move them all the way totally out because they just disappear completely. So we're going to move them right the way to the edge over there, and I'm going to move them with my arrows a little bit, so it's just on the very edge in there. You might be able to get yours closer than that. Let's move this one over here closer as well, and that one closer too. Now doing it this way means that when I use my match and move transition, what will happen is it will play and they will just come out all at the same time like that. And maybe that's what you want, for them all to appear at the same time. But it could be that you want one to come up, then the next, and then the next. Now if you want to do that way, let's just go back in here again. I'm going to just undo all these bits over there. I'm using my Command and Z or Control and Z to go all the way back. There we go, to this little page over here. So we need some more copies of this. So I'm going to duplicate this, duplicate the page, and if I'm happy with that one, let's try it again. Duplicate page, duplicate page. You can never have too many of these duplicates, to be honest. You could always delete them later on. It just helps with what we're doing. So if we go back to this first page over here, once again I can say let's move all of these back again, get them as close as I can to the edge. Let's move that one all the way back, and I'm just holding down the arrow keys on my keyboard. And this last one I'm going to actually do it manually because otherwise it just takes too long, but then use the arrow keys to just do the final bit. And I'll go to my position to make sure they're all still there and I haven't moved them off the page completely. That one there is still showing up. I could probably move it a little bit further in. Now going along to the second page, what I'd want is to have the first one in position. So these ones here I would move back again. Same again, let's move that all the way back, make sure it hasn't disappeared, and let's move that one all the way back into there. So that's how they're going to, the second one's going to look. Let's go along to the third one. So the third one is going to have this one but not that, so we'll move this one all the way back in like so, and then the last one will look like that. So we've got this page here, then that page, then that page, then that page, and if we've got these little transitions, match and move between them, I'm going to slow them down a little bit so it's a little bit better. let's play it and see what happens. So at the moment, our timing's totally wrong. That one pops up, then that one, and then this one. Have a bit of a go with that. You'll need, well, about 4 of these, but I'm going to do a 5th one as well, because obviously we're going to be adding some text to them. Have a bit of a go with that. Get to this stage, either animate them all at once or individually, which looks better. Don't forget you want to use a transition between them, which is going to be match and move, and you can change the length of that transition in there. Once you've done that, go along to these pages because we want to speed them up. Just click on duration for a moment over here, and I'll just zoom that in a little bit like that. There we go. It's a bit easier to see over there. We can then go along to these and we can shorten them as well. So let's say 1 second on there. Let's go to the next one, and I can shorten them from one side or the other, as you know. 1 second on that, and 1 second on there. Play around with your timing and see what works best for you, because even 1 second is a long time when you're watching something come up like that. Have a go. I'm on this first page here, and I'm just going to go to my forest text, and I want to animate it in. So I'm going to click on Animate, and then you can choose from whatever animation you want in here. I'm going to go very simple to just blur it in slowly. Now I want to move over here. We've got those 3 coming in there, and then when I get to this stage, I want to bring in some little logos and also some text. So the text on here is going to say things like, because it's all about the forest, land, density, and ecosystems. So I'm going to start to bring in my text now. So I'll just add a text box in there. Let's put in ecosystem in here. Obviously I need to find a typeface that will work with that, so I'm going to select it and go and choose the typeface. I'm going to go with this very heavy duty typeface in here, but feel free to choose anything you like. In fact, let's go with something else. Now I've got that typeface in there. I'm just going to click off of it, move it into the right position over here, and change the color. I want this typeface absolutely correct before I start to copy it. I'm going to select it, go along, choose the color that I want to use for that. You could use some color that you've got in there already. I'm going to go with a white on that. And I think that's pretty much okay. Once I've done that, I can then hold down the Alt or the Option key and just copy it again. You'll notice I'm kind of leaving a gap at the end to put in a little logo. Change that to, this is going to be density. I'm going to do it all in caps. Over there, that will go in there. And the last one is going to be land over here. If you wish, you could put it under your tree, but it's not really readable that way. Let's do this all in caps as well. Now we need some little icons to go in here. So I'm going to go along to my elements, and I'm going to go to and find leaves. So let's have a look and see if we can see any leaves. I'm going to go with graphics in here. I'm just looking for something really simple, like a little black and white leaf to work on. I think if I just do leaf in there, this is the sort of simplicity that I'm after. I'll just click on that and we'll take that down, make it a bit smaller, so that could be in the land maybe, change the color, and once again I'll make that white. And I'll go and find some other ones in there, something to do with density or forest density, and a little bug for the ecosystem. Anyway, you can do whatever you want with those, but they're just going on this last page here. Once you've done them and you've put them in, we want to have a look at the timing over here, because at the moment, if we play this, and we'll just move the playback head back a little bit like that, they will just slowly fade in. But I want them to fade in one at a time so people will read them as they go. I'm going to right click on there, and I'm going to go up to, let's try that again. I'm going to go to my shape. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say show timing, so I can actually see when the land is coming in, and maybe I want that to come in a little bit further on. Don't forget, click this little button here and you can zoom your timeline a little bit in like that. So with the playback head, that comes in, and then let's get this one to come in over there. I'm going to click on density, and that's going to come in just after that, and ecosystem will come in over there. So we'll have this sort of effect of 1, 2, 3 coming in like that. You can do them in any order you like, it doesn't matter. And then I can do exactly the same with these little shapes. Once I brought them in, I could get them to come in either at the same time, or they can pop in individually as well. So I'm actually going to take that to the same height as land, so that and that will come in at the same time, or offset it. It's entirely up to you. I'll go and find some more little icons to go in mine, but have a bit of a go with that. And don't forget, you click on one of those shapes, right click, and then say show timing to get to this timing area in here. Once you've done that, if you wish, you can then go along to the items themselves. For example, land, I can go to the effects and to animate, and then I can go and put in some animation in here as well. So if I do want to get it to fade in or pan in or anything like that, might look quite nice when it pops in. We can also go to the effects, and I'm going to put in a little bit of a shadow underneath that. I'm going to blur my shadow slightly over there. You can play with this and get it exactly as you want it to look. Let's just play that last little bit once again over here. So that'll come in and those will pop in like so. I think I need to make that shadow a little bit harsher to separate it from the background. Try it out. Now I've got so many things over here up at the same time, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to say hide timing, so we just get a slightly better and cleaner page. I want to make another copy of this whole page here, so I'm going to right click it, duplicate the page, and then I'm going to go to my duplicate over here. Now not this one here, make sure that you're not on that one. You should be on probably page 6 over there. And I'm going to remove most of these items. So those, that can go, that can go, that can go, the trees can go, that. All I want to do is to have this bit of land, the forest and the background in here. And then I'm going to move this bit of land around. So I'm going to just pull mine around. Mine's slightly bigger than the page. You can see I'll pull it around and move it down. You can do anything you like with yours. So what's going to happen now, and by the way, because we've made another one, we've already got in position our move and match. I'm going to take the duration to 2.5 seconds. There'll be a nice slow animation between them. Let's move our playback head back to here. So what will happen is once they've come in, those bits have all popped in, and then everything will fade out and the ground will move into the right position over there. So those go, those come up, they fade, ground moves like so. And then on this page over here, this is where I'm actually going to get to my technical details for the forest. So using a chart for that. And I really like the donut charts, so I'm going to use one of those. You can do whatever chart you want. Now, to put in my chart, we're going to go to our elements again. Over here, let's just hide those. Scroll up a bit to the charts, see all, and choose the sort of chart that you like. As I said, I particularly like these ones, so I'm going to go with one of these for this page. Now the colors are just totally wrong for what I want to show, because this is all about forest, not about water. So I can go to my colors up here and I can change the colors on my chart. You'll see we've got the blues there getting darker and darker. Now, although I've gone up to here, you actually change the colors in the top. So let's go to this one. We'll choose a yellow, and I'm just going to go through my colors, pick some different colors, being careful that I don't choose the same colors as the background. Let's go with a darker green. I'm going to have to make up some colors over here, so I click on that and choose a totally different color. Let's have some brown for that one, and the last one, once again, I'll go with a darker brown over there. We can then go to the data, and this is where we can start to put in our data. Now we're going to use labels, and then over here we've got series. I'm going to put in the figures in here, but have a bit of a go. Get this animation running across by using the transition and removing all those bits, and then bring in your chart, change the colors on your chart, and we'll put the data in the next video. As you can see, I've changed a few of my bits of data. So I've got land, density, and ecosystems, and I've put in some numbers in there. Item 4 and 5 I don't want, so I can actually just go in there and delete them out completely. Let's get rid of that 10 in there as well. Now, if you've got a very large chart, you can actually click on Expand Table, and that'll take you into another screen. It's a lot easier to work in this screen here, so I'm going to get rid of that one and get rid of the 10 as well. And you can see it just updates on here. The labels over there, we can choose labels, or we can choose the values to have in there instead. I'm going to keep mine set on the labels. Oops, wrong one there. And there. Once again, we will just close that down. That fades out, but the chart is there automatically, so I'm going to right click on it, show the timing. I'm going to move my chart so it comes in after everything has faded out. So that'll fade out, and then my chart will just animate in. Let's have a little look at this. If I play that, those bits fade out and my chart animates in. Have a little bit of a go with getting your chart details right. You can use any sort of data that you like in there. And if you want to, once you've done that, right click, duplicate the page again, go into your next page, get rid of this chart, or change it to a different sort of chart in here. So at the moment I've just clicked on it. You go to edit in there, and I could change it to, say for example, a bar chart. Same information, but I'm going to change the color of those bars to something else. Let's go with much brighter yellow in there, like so. Have a bit of a go, try those out. I want to do one more page over here, so I'm going to go along to this last page in there, right click it and duplicate the page again, but I don't want the chart on that last page, so I'm going to get rid of that. What I want on this last page is some text, so I'm going to go along to my text tool, but I want to write something in here. I want about 60 words on the importance of land, density, and ecosystems in the forest. So I'm going to click on Magic Write, and I'll describe exactly what I want. So 60 words on the importance of land density and ecosystems in the forest. Apologies that my typing is a little bit on the slow side. And I'll click on generate, and I've mistyped forest, but it still understands that. So I can just click on insert and it'll pop it straight in. Now I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller in there. If you grab a corner, you can get it to move around. I'm going to take this text and over here go up to my text color, because I want that text to be white on that white background. Let's make it a little bit larger, I think, otherwise it will be very difficult to read. I think that'll just about work. And let's go to the effects and bring it in with an effect. Sorry, let's go to the animate and bring it in with an animation. I'm going to choose typewriter because it doesn't seem too over the top. We can change the speed on that over here. I'm going to leave it right in the middle. And then with my timing down here, let's have a look at the timing. So I'm going to go back to my timeline and scale this in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. This needs to be quite a few seconds. So if I want that to be, say, 10 seconds long, giving people enough time to kind of read through that very quickly. You can make yours longer if you wished. And we'll just start that so it comes in about there. Let's have a look at the timing and see how that works. So that one comes in, that fades out, and my text starts to come in like that. Once I've got my text in and I'm happy with that, I'm just going to have a last page saying thank you, or with my logo on it. So easy still, duplicate the page, get rid of the text, and bring in my logo, which should be in my brand kit. So I'm going to drag that in, place that in the middle, like so. So once you're happy with that, I would suggest going back to the beginning and running it again and making sure that everything works for you, that the timings all work, and you're happy with it. We can then go up to share. I'm going to go down to download, and you've guessed it, MP4, and download that. So let's watch the whole thing. Have fun with that. If you need to make any changes, go back and do some changes to it.